comes out before Emmitt Smith hits the ground, but he covered it up.
Donaldson is the guy who helped to strip it, and the catch is made by Irvin in Atlanta territory, and he's wrestled down at the Falcon 45 by Sanders and Case.
You go back on what you're talking about with Emmitt Smith, Al. I mean, I think this year they have improved their running attack to some degree. Kervin Richards has 149 yards, and Daryl Johnston has 61.
BC Sports, and we'll also have the Jeep Eagle Aloha Bowl to follow. BYU against Kansas.
I hope you're all home on Christmas Day.
Yeah. There's Deion Sanders in the game on offense for the first time, and that doesn't fool Russell Maryland. So they run Sanders. They've been using him as a wideout or in the slot. Take your pick from time to time this season, including a touchdown reception last week. But this time they run him, and it doesn't fool anybody.
And Russell can tell everybody, I made an open field tackle on Deion Sanders and didn't have any help. Maryland is just penetrating upfield, and on the first rush of his NFL career, Neon Deion goes nowhere. Number one meets number one.
Dallas Cowboys, defensive unit, secondary, going over their performance on the far side as the offense takes over at the 29-yard line. 12:10 to go in the half. Dallas up by 3. Aikman on an out to Irvin, and he is pushed out of bounds by Deion Sanders in frustration. It's a 14-yard gain. We mentioned before, almost every time Michael Irvin catches a pass, it's good for a first down. Coming into the game, he caught 67 this season, and 64 of them had been for first downs.
Well, again, Sanders, when you're that good, you're going to get a lot of man-for-man assignments. You're going to draw the tough receivers, and he was out there on an island all alone. And that time, Irving was the winner of that.
Playing defensive line for the Atlanta Falcons. He's feeling better. The radiation has made him nauseous, but he's doing well, and he wants everybody to know it. And of course, we all wish him well.
3rd and 5, and here's Aikman throwing up to the 30-yard line, and somehow skittering away is Irvin, who initially was stopped, and that's what he does so well. He makes the catch and then picks up a lot more. All the way to the 38-yard line of the Falcons.
We talked about the 7- and 8-yard, in many ways like an Andre Reed in Buffalo, the guy who isn't afraid to work the middle and make people either miss him or, in this case, bounce off of him. This is Michael Irvin using his size, wrapped up, held by Deion, tackled by Deion, and Deion gets up looking like, why isn't this guy on the ground? That is the athletic ability and the all-around skill of Michael Irvin.
Head linesman made the call, and I'm not even sure Novacek had control if it is against
defense.
Atlanta.
Number 21 lined up offside. Penlos refused. Touchdown.
Deion on the outside coverage, lined up offside, trying to get in the face of Irvin, and lined up offside.
You don't see that very often.
Glanville looking up at the replay.
All right, here's Novacek in his dive for the end zone. From that angle, it looks like he didn't have control of the football when it came across the goal line.
So close.
Yeah, that angle did make it appear, though, as if the ball was separated from his body.
Elliott's extra point is good. Novacek has made 5 catches in the first half. And remember, he had both Cowboy touchdowns last week in the loss to Washington.
The ball just has to break the plane. It's hard to tell from that angle, too. I'm sure we got a couple more. Novacek again with such quickness.
I mean, he definitely loses control of the football. Question being, was it before or after he crosses the goal line? The only thing we can say is that the side judge is right there.
That's got Case pulling on the arm. 7-foot high jumper in high school. A few moments ago, you saw him leap high over the head of Tim McKyer.
And using the asset that both he and Michael Irvin have, and that is the tremendous size at wide receiver. That's where it comes in handy when you're in close quarters with another DB. Having it and using it, they can do both.
Lynn Elliott, a rookie out of Texas Tech, bounces one to Sanders. at the 2-yard line. Deion comes flying up the middle, loses the football. Dallas has it again. Thomas Everett is the guy who recovers it. And Tommy Agee is the man who dislodged it.
For the first time tonight, Deion got the football in the middle of the field, one that did not hang up there and let the coverage get downfield. He tried to exploit it, and he was really hammered.
Deion's neon is on the verge of running out of gas. He's trying. It's a good effort right up the middle. He takes to the air here, and before he even gets up off the ground, the ball comes out.
His own man really dislodged it.
Tommy Agee was the closest Cowboy to him.
At the 29 now, Emmitt Smith swings to the outside. Picks up 3, still going! Emmitt Smith doing a Barry Sanders imitation. Touchdown!
And Deion Sanders hits him late and knocks him down, but it's a touchdown.
I'll tell you what, he looks like he might be hurt too.
He's under the stands.
Rolled under the stands. We're going to have to scrape him out.
Oh, there he is.
I'll tell you, whether he got into the end zone or not, he deserves it.
Well,
what an effort.
Whether he got in or not, he's got it.
He's going to keep it.
Keeps the ball.
Oh, that was beautiful.
What an effort. Reminiscent of a run we saw early in the year by Barry Sanders, where he was hit, stopped. Look at this. Look at the number of hits he takes, but nobody from the Falcons wraps up.
I'll tell you, their leading tackler, Jesse Tuggle, had his arms wrapped around him, and he still was able to spin and twist out.
Lynn Elliott for the point after, and so a 10-point halftime lead in 3 minutes and 35 seconds has been extended to a 24-point margin. E. Smith.
There's Tuggle.
Well, at least we see Deion return another kickoff.
He'll be exhausted when the night's over.
How much can a player bench press? Well, take a look at this.
More importantly, he dropped that too.
That's Deion coming off the field after the fumble, and then watching the touchdown by Emmitt Smith. Well, just thinking the same thing.
Hey, oh. Well, one thing about Jerry Glanville, you have to say, he asks for none, and he gives none. And he's taken his fair share of whippings and has said nothing about it, and doesn't like it when other coaches complain when he administers one.
2nd and 10, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. He's tackled by Deion Sanders. So another tremendous night for Smith and a forgettable night for Neon.
Florida and Florida State getting it on. Watch him cover up the football. He knows he's in traffic. Deion trying to pull it out.
He did.
Tilt at the Georgia Dome, the chances of the Dallas Cowboys not winning the NFC Eastern Division title were roughly equivalent to the chances of the Dallas Mavericks winning the NBA Central Division title. Even if they only tied the Falcons, it was all theirs. It would be wrapped up and under the tree. Hey, you know him. It's the guy who looks like Deion Santa Claus. Second quarter, and the Cowboys working on Deion all night. Michael Irvin, 14 yards past Deion. It's Deion Santa Claus. He's making his list. He's checking it twice. He's making Jay Novacek look like flipping Jerry Rice. Sets up a Cowboys score again in the second quarter. Cowboys try to go up top. Irvin has Santa Claus beaten. Wrap this under your tree. But the pass is overthrown. Deion tells the boys to bring it on, and they do. Again underneath. Irvin takes the 5-yard pass and busts loose of a Sanders. Pat on the back for a 34-yard gain. Yet another Dallas score. Prime time. Cancellation. 2 words to think about. The Falcons try to get Deion into the offense to no avail. Deion's first NFL rush, a 4-yard loss by Russell Maryland on the kickoff. Fumble. Setting up yet another Cowboy score on the next play. Who else but Emmitt Smith, who is challenging for the NFL rushing title and doing a darn good job of it. Shakes loose and goes past Deion Santa Claus for the score. It was presents for everybody thanks to Santa Claus tonight. 41-17, the Cowboys win. And Deion, he's lifting packages, he's throwing benches, he's being petulant. It's all over. Dallas, of course, clinches as expected the NFC East with a 41-17 rout. as Emmitt Smith goes 24 carries for 174. Aikman, 18 of 21, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Novacek, 5 catches for 69 yards. They burned Deion Sanders every which way imaginable. So the rushing title picture now going into the final week with Emmitt Smith now even with Barry Foster. He has closed the gap even in games played and nearly even in yardage. He has closed the gap to 5 with Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders with wistful hopes at best. We're catching up with those two gentlemen at the top. We'll see how that turns out next week. And now let's go to the Georgia Dome, where who else but Emmitt Smith is standing by with our own Chris Mortensen. Mort?
Great. Thank you very much. We got Emmitt Smith here. He took the NFL rushing lead tonight, 2 touchdowns. Emmitt, but more importantly, the NFC East Championship.
That's the most important thing. That was the ultimate goal tonight. We'll come out and play well and win the ball game and clinch the NFC East.
Tell us about your first touchdown run. Bounce off Jesse Tuggle, who is not easy to bounce off. Just describe that run for us.
Well, basically, it was a play that was designed to come up inside, and the Falcons did a great job of flushing it outside, and I was flushed it outside, and I tried to cut back up inside, and Tuggle was in the hole. He hit me, but he didn't wrap up on me, and I was able to bounce off and continue to run outside.
Now, in the last series, you passed Barry Foster for the NFL rushing lead. Were you aware that you passed him?
No, I wasn't aware. I was just out trying. I wanted to get 200 if I had opportunity to get 200, and that's something that I wanted to do. We was playing well as an offense, and I felt like I had a great chance of getting it, and that's something that I wanted to do.
Let me ask you this. Where do you draw the line between personal and team goals? You will have carried 1,000 times in your first 3 years. Don't you want a week off?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get the week off now that we have clinched the NFC East. So right now, I mean, I'm more concerned about winning ball games and doing whatever it takes to win a ball game.
Do you want the NFL rushing title? Will you play next week? Do you want 25 carries?
I prefer to have a NFC championship game and win that and go into the Super Bowl and win that over title. But if the title came first, which it may happen, hopefully I get the opportunity to get it. And if I get it, well, but there's a lot more to win besides the NFL rushing title.
Just 5 more yards to tie Barry Foster, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
One last question is, just on the issue, I'll let you go here, the issue of contract.
That's already dead. Let's kill it right now.
All right. Take it easy.
That's the way to end an interview. Mort with Emmitt Smith. So the latest snapshot of the NFC playoff picture featuring Emmitt Smith, who leads the NFL in touchdowns. The divisions are set. Niners have had the home field advantage since Saturday. In the wild card chase, a Green Bay loss or a Philly loss combined with a Redskin win means Washington gets the 3rd wild